So here are my thoughts towards Star Wars Skeleton Crew episodes 1 and 2. Now before I get into this, I want to actually say if you guys are expecting, Luke Skywalker, all that stuff to pop up, or you're expecting this to be, deep Star Wars lore, then obviously don't watch it. But my initial reaction to this show is that I really do like this. It's a real nostalgia-filled kind of show, and it really reminds me of the times when I was a kid. Especially the part in episode 1 where Wim was actually late for the bus. And also before that, what he likes to do is he likes to play with his toys. I mean, he just sits there playing with toys all day, and that's something that I would do a lot as a kid. I mean, I've had plenty of times when I was a kid where I had my Power Rangers, and then all of a sudden Darth Vader would walk in and just absolutely slaughter all the Power Rangers, and it would be this awesome little 5v1. But overall, this first episode was really cool, and I'm going to get into the breakdown just a little bit. I don't want to break it down too much because I feel as though personally you guys should go watch the episode yourselves. Actually, I'm just going to make this video my reaction video, and I'm actually going to watch the episode again and again just so I can get a better breakdown for you guys. So the main antagonist of this show is going to be mainly pirates, and being the first episode opens up with a bunch of pirates boarding a ship and then eventually finding it and only finding 1 gold on there, or 1 Republic credit. And then it cuts down to the planet, and that's where we get introduced to our main character, Wim, and his friend. But overall, what I am going to talk about here is this is just awesome to see. I mean, personally, I loved seeing just mainly more aliens, not just so many humans in this episode. I mean, that's what Star Wars has been struggling with recently. We've had nothing but humans. And trust me, I get it. I mean, humans are much more easier to relate to for humans who are actually on the outside watching the show. But now that we actually have more aliens in the show, I believe that this is going to be a better direction for Star Wars overall. But this episode really does pull on the nostalgia heartstrings. I mean, it really does make you feel like you're a kid again watching and, living this life. And I would honestly put this show, I said it'll be probably more like a Stranger Things kind of vibe. Well, in terms of the adventure part at least, well, I was completely wrong. I mean, this actually has more of like a Harry Potter kind of vibe. I honestly would give this show more of like that Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, Jumanji kind of vibe, through the eyes and the perspective of kids. And I personally think that if you were to put grown adults in these situations that they're in, it wouldn't really hit as hard. But now that they're kids, it definitely hits. And it's also nice and a breath of fresh air to actually just see what a normal neighborhood within the Star Wars universe looks like. I mean, obviously all the time, all we have is mainly, the battles, the wars part of Star Wars. But through this, we actually have a whole neighborhood. I mean, we get to see kids late for the bus. We get to see all these kind of memories that you have as a kid is brought out in this show. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I would be late to the bus, and I remember my mom being absolutely furious with me because she would now have to be late to work, and then now I would have to be driven to school. Also, another scene that really pulls on that nostalgia heartstrings is the fact that when Wim leaves his house and he meets up with his friend Neil, he actually has a fake lightsaber fight with him, and I can only imagine, I can't even count on my fingers how many times I've done that as a kid. I'll never forget when I was a kid and I ran up to a random stranger who had a Darth Vader costume on, and I had my little Walmart saber at the time, and then he had a full-blown, $1,500 Darth Vader suit on with the actual, really cool lightsaber. And I clashed lightsabers with him. And of course I lost, but it was just part of that fun, part of that memory, one of the core memories I have as a kid. And those are the kind of reactions I kind of get from this show. I the entire time I was just sitting back like, dang, I remember doing that as a kid. I remember doing this as a kid. Like that entire time I was watching it. It was very lighthearted, something that I just enjoy to watch overall, and I can't wait for more episodes to come out now, honestly. Another part of the episode that really had me kind of laughing and giggling is because this part honestly reminded me a lot of all the way up to high school for me, even in college for me. Wim was just sitting in class and he was just doodling away, not really paying attention, and all the students are being grilled on how this one test is supposed to outline their entire future. And this part just made me laugh because it just reminded me a lot of being a kid and thinking the same thing. Like, how the heck is this test supposed to outline my entire future? Like, you mean to tell me at this exact same moment, after all the growing that I could potentially do, this is what is gonna come down to dictate what my entire life is gonna be like? I just always hated it. Now, the big question is, does this feel like Star Wars? Does this show make you feel like you're transported to the world of Star Wars and you're deeply embedded within the show? And I can honestly say, yes, it does. It feels like Star Wars. It feels like that side of Star Wars that we never actually explore, the normal living, what normal living within the Star Wars universe looks like. Now, there's only been 2 episodes, so I'm not going to sit here and say oh yeah, this is going to be a game changer. Star Wars is definitely back. No. We have to let the entire show go through because similarly to Acolyte, we don't know yet. The first episode of Acolyte wasn't necessarily all that bad, but then as soon as we got to episode 3, it just all fell apart. Am I enjoying the show so far? Definitely. I can't, as I said before, I can't wait to see other episodes. I can't wait for the show to come back in a week and I get to review that episode. I am going to be working on a breakdown for episodes 1 and 2. Probably will be releasing tomorrow just because I'm busy right now. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait for more of the Skeleton Crew. I think it's going to be a really cool show, a nice fun show, a nice little kind of just sit back and just take a breath of fresh air. At the bare minimum, I can at least say this show is 15 times what the Acolyte was, and I can honestly die on that hill. I will, even if this show after episode 3 turns to shit, I can almost guarantee you that it'll always be better than Acolyte. And that's a very low bar, I understand, but I'm just saying it is 15 times better already. The Acolyte is something that you get when you have a bunch of people who are very self-conceited and they don't necessarily see the outside world outside of their own little bubble. And that's what we got out of Acolyte. Acolyte was just a therapy session for Leslie Headland, and she ruined Star Wars with it, and I don't want to care or hear anything otherwise. She absolutely ruined what was left of Star Wars. But Skeleton Crew feels like something that George would have wanted to write. It feels like something that expands Star Wars even further beyond of something that we could even imagine so far. It just feels like a great show so far, man. I really have nothing else to say about it other than it's a great show. I recommend everybody goes and watch it, at least the first 2 episodes. Of course, I'll be here to give my opinions on the rest of the episodes later on. And all I can say is I really do hope that Andor Season 2 follows suit. I honestly hope that Andor is really good, and I hope that Star Wars going forward from this point is pretty good or decent at best. But anyway, that's all I got for this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. May the Force be with you, and as always, have a great rest of your day.